Good afternoon and welcome to Shift. This guy, he's got a very nice way, but he's very convincing. This is the only country that we're doing 2 shift events, okay? I don't know how he did this, Anna. I don't know how he did this, but this is the only country where we did one in Milan, and now we're doing one in Rome, and he's just like, I don't know, it happened, okay? But it gives us great joy, great pleasure to host you all, and we thank you on behalf of everybody at Commvault to be here. I know I was a CIO for many years. I know how difficult it is. The day you plan to be out of the office is the day there's an emergency. And for the fact that you're all here, we don't take it for granted. Thank you. I also want to once again say thank you to our partners who are part of our family, who are part of how we do things. It has the confidence when we can work better together for you as our customers. So on behalf of all of us, thank you for that too. I'm going to take a few minutes and share what I consider to be a practitioner's view on resilience and why resilience is important in the world we live in today. When I did this presentation in November, the world was very different, geopolitically different, AI different, cyber different, and fast forward a few months, and it's a very different world. And I think this kind of difference is going to keep happening. And at the heart of what each of us needs to do as individuals, as citizens, as consumers, as professionals, is build more resilience into how we look at things and how we do things. And I'll spend a few minutes this morning, hopefully this afternoon, setting that up and then setting up the speakers that follow. If you don't know us, if you're not a customer, we are a company that's been around for 30 years, and we're very proud of it. And we've focused over these 30 years on effectively one thing. Now, fashions have come, and seasons have come, and fashions have gone, and seasons have gone, but at the end of it, what we do is protect your business. And we protect your business by building resilience into the core of your business, which is your data. Data has never been more important than in the era of AI. But not working on the hype cycles, but working on the practicalities, I'm hoping I can share a practitioner's point of view with you. The way to think about us is we get up every day, and there's a few Commvault folks here in the audience. We wake up every day and make our mission is in making you more resilient, making your business more resilient. So we get up early so you can sleep better at night. And that's how we like to think about it. Because internally, I have a very simple approach to how we think about our customer situations. If a customer is down for any reason, it's like we are down. And every minute counts. Your reputation for your business, your brand, your ability to get things done for your customers all get affected if for some reason your data, your systems are unavailable. But that's the world we live in today. As a company, because we focus on protection, we have gotten, I think, really good at it. We have over 1,600 awarded patents for a company of our size. We've been on NASDAQ for 20 years this year, 20 years. Our financials are available to you to see, to understand. We're a very transparent company. All the industry pundits like IDC, Giga, Forrester, Gartner always have us on the top right-hand corner of their right-hand corners, of their quadrants. In fact, with Gartner, we have been an absolute leader, not a relative leader, but an absolute leader for 14 straight years. And we do that in all worlds, physical, virtual, cloud, hybrid, and when they come out with an AI capability, I'm sure we will do just fine. We're also recognized by our partners like AWS as the storage partner of the year, which is something we don't take lightly because being able to work better together for you as our customers matters to us. We engineer better together. We solve better together. We hope to make our products available better together. So we do take that very seriously. A statistic that I like to share that is not obvious is conservatively as a company, we have moved over 8 exabytes of data into the public cloud in the last few years. And I've spent over $1 billion in the last 5 years on R&D in this space, not scattered across a variety of different things. So just a little bit, if you don't know us, about us. Now, resilience is hard. It's always been hard, but it's particularly hard in today's world. And resilience, when I was a CIO, and it seems like I was a CIO 1,000 years ago, but it wasn't that long ago, the big challenge of the day was going from physical systems to virtual systems. And how do you protect those? It was easy. We had figured out how to protect physical systems. Now we have virtual systems. And from virtual systems, it became farms. It became Kubernetes and ephemeral apps and serverless apps and all of those things. And as you move down that journey, most companies, unless you were only born in the cloud and live only in the cloud, and there are a few of those, you have a little of everything. You have a little or a lot of everything. And what ends up happening is resilience is only as good, protection is only as good as the completeness of your solution. So while companies think backup is an easy thing to do, and they focus on the new shiny workload, what we make sure we do is cover everything that you may have in your world, whether it be physical, virtual, cloud, public cloud, private cloud, hybrid, multi-cloud, doesn't matter. We will make sure, and my team will come up in a little while and share more about our technology, that we have you covered, because you're only as good as the completeness of your coverage. So resilience is hard, but it's getting harder. And it's getting harder because we're not just protecting systems, but the systems of record, the data that then feeds your AI systems and other systems is growing at an exponential pace. You can look at different studies, and essentially, we believe data will double in volume, in quantity, in the next 3 to 4 years. In the next 3 to 4 years. If I was to ask you how many of you actually see your data shrink in your companies, not a single hand would go up. Because it's not, it's impossible. And with AI, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So what ends up happening is this introduces this type of diversity of systems and generations of systems and tools creates a level of complexity around data in the modern enterprise. And if you switch the lens that on resilience, what ends up happening is that you have distributed, fragmented, and variety of data that is unprecedented. Data is further away today from where it was created, systems of record, than it was ever intended to be. You're taking data, you're curating it, you're cutting it, you're doing different things with it, you're moving it into pipelines, those pipelines are going into big data lakes, those big data lakes are now being used to feed AI pipelines, and it just keeps going. And you have versions and quantums of this data, fragmented types of data, volume of data, variety of data, all over your enterprise. It doesn't stop there. You rent data, you buy data, you scrape data, you're doing all kinds of things around data, and all of this data is living everywhere. Now, this is not an easy problem to solve for, because regulation is increasing, cyber attacks are increasing, okay? Touch points that your employees have into your systems or your ecosystem has into your systems is increasing, okay? And all of this somehow needs to be made more resilient. So if you think about the AI perspective on all of this, and how do you secure this? How do you make sure you're less vulnerable? Well, I got bad news for you. Vulnerabilities are going to increase because they're going to get exposed. They may still exist in there, but they're going to get exposed. Everyone's talking about Mythos. Mythos is one implementation. One implementation of a security framework, AI speed. It's not so much about finding, it's about fixing. And what ends up happening is there's multiple models, we're using these different models, we're testing everything on it. It's a continuous loop. All of a sudden, vulnerability detection doesn't become the requirement of a security provider. It becomes a part of your enterprise requirements. You need to have now separate teams that are constantly scanning, actively scanning vulnerabilities, security holes, different things in your landscape of tools to make sure that the vulnerabilities are not only found, but fixed and applied and goes on. And it's going to be this flywheel, because these models are going to get smarter and they're going to have more, they're going to detect more, and then you're going to have to fix them real time so that you're safe real time. Now, I like to say, I don't like to say, but I say it, that we, the good people, have to be right 100% of the time, while the bad actors who are trying to get into your systems, that are trying to take your things, have to be right one time. Now, if you believe that the odds are not in your favor, then what is your fallback? What do you have to think about? The answer really is resilience. Making sure that you can bring back your systems that were touched, affected, corrupted, whatever it may be, without the shadow of a doubt. And what it comes back to is whether it's a cyber threat, an AI agent gone wrong, a human error, a natural disaster, a geopolitical situation, how resistant, how resilient are you? And it comes back to that. It comes back to the heart of that. And that's where we've been focusing a ton. And I'm going to share a little bit more about how we're thinking about resilience in this era of AI. The questions to ask yourself really are up on the circle, which is, can you withstand an attack at AI speed? We haven't seen them yet, believe me. We haven't seen these yet, in the sense. This is forthcoming. Machine speed. They learn against yourself, and then they apply that learning against you. Do you have a counter? Today's systems are static. Today's systems are built for human detection. Today's systems are built for human identities, with agents, with machines, with agents on agents. How prepared are you? How long would you be down? How long is acceptable being down? How much have you tested it? Now, the difference between recovery and resilience is your confidence level because you've tested. How resilient am I? I'm resilient because I know I can bring this back in 2 hours. I'm resilient because I can bring this back in 3 hours. I've tested it, and tested it. Okay? Because you've done it. And that's what makes you resilient. So if you can answer some of these questions, it's not about which attack you're going to have to withstand. It's about how do you recover from that attack or that situation or that geopolitical occurrence to bring your business back. We call this, we don't call it, Anna kind of named it, a new era of resilience. And we call it a new era because 2 years ago, when we did this event, we talked about cyber resilience, recovering from the face of a cyber attack. It wasn't about preventing a cyber attack. It was having the intelligence as to what happened so that you could recover from it. We go with the path that says the odds are not in your favor, and so if you are breached in some form, or if you do have something that you need to roll back, how ready are you? But it was all about cyber. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was about cyber. We went from protection of data protection, to cyber resilience. Now, 2 years later, we're talking about resilience in the era of AI. So what changed? What's different? What's different is, I'll let you look at that chart for a second, but what you have up there is really 3 worlds. The world of security, SecOps, the world of identity. Do you know who you are? Do you know who's entering your systems? Do you know who's touching your systems? And it's usually human. It has been human for the most part. And the third is really about recovery. These are separate bubbles. These are separate circles. These are separate. And then with each of those, you have separate tools. Okay? Security tooling. I mean, I know companies that have 30 and 40 security tools, all actively being trying to work together. You have DevOps tools, you have Ops tools for data, you have recovery tools. And all of that, you hope, harmoniously works together. And it has, for the most part, we could all sort of say, yeah, I think it works. But does it work in the world of AI? Does it work where the attacks are smart, where they're learning, they know the vulnerabilities, when they can do things? Now, one of the issues with this chart is the fact that cause-effect becomes very difficult. Who came in? Who did what? When did it get done? What damage was caused? Have I tested the recovery of that damage? Can I bring it back into production? Can I roll it back out? Today, it's fairly manual. The telemetry between each of these systems is fairly separate. They talk to each other, but it's still manual. Now, what we're saying is, in the world of AI, where non-human identities will probably outpace human identities 50, 60, 100 to 1, why does this become important? Our theory as a company is that your data security, who touched what, where, what's out there, and it's growing, data's growing, identity, and your ability to recover are intrinsically tied. There should be no light between them. Because cause-effect at AI speed becomes pivotal. Today, yesterday, before AI, if you had 4 hours between the time you thought there was an anomaly detected in your SecOps team and the time you go to your Active Directory unit and look at who's got that, and then you look at the backup and the recovery capabilities, 4 hours may have been okay. 6, 12 hours. Today, there's a lot of damage one can do with AI in 4 hours. A ton. Recovery can be almost impossible because it's too far down and the implications can be too far mechanized and automated. So what we're saying is, as you move into the era of AI, resilience needs to have these three things in a platform intrinsically tied. You can't look them separately. Now, one of the other things we've realized over time, as we've been in this business for 30 years, is this is the time for us to really come up with an operational approach to build resilience into an organization. How do you know you're resilient? How do you prove it to yourself? How do you sleep better at night? Just because you tested, that's one big step. But if you have an enterprise with different systems from different generations, with AI speed, with AI systems being introduced, you have to have a methodology, an approach, a currency by which you can say, I know where I am in this journey. And we've coined a term that we're very proud of, so much so that some of our competitors are now using this term, and we take it as credit. ResOps, resilience operations. Operations tends to have a connotation of efficiency, historically. We're not talking so much about efficiency. We're talking about a process. We're talking about an ability. We're talking about a way in which your companies can actually say, yeah, we know exactly what resilience operations is. We know how to come back. We know how to make it right. We know how to come back. We know how to set it up, all of it, the whole life cycle. Why is this important? Because things are getting even more complicated. The volume of data is getting even bigger, and AI is making things even smarter. So you need to have a roadmap, a methodology, an approach that is embedded into a platform so that you can actually look at the progress you're making as you roll out these newer capabilities. Let's take a minute to talk about ResOps. Think of ResOps, very simply, as a continuous active loop. AI is active. AI is not static. AI is not passive. AI is active. Your defenses, both to be proactive and reactive, you have to be active. Everything has to be continuously monitored. Everything has to be continuously looked at. And it starts with discovery. So if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you have to discover the assets. You have to discover the sensitive data while it's being written, while it's being accessed, not in some batch mode later that says, let me go look at this data and figure out what's going on. As data is being dealt with, created, modified, updated, you have to be able to discover it and put policy on it. That's the first part. Then you got to look at the ability for you to protect it. Who has access? Where does it live? What sovereignty requirements do we have? How am I protecting this data? So let's assume that we know how to do that. We've done it for 30 years. We can protect your data. Then you have to think about detection continuously. Am I seeing an anomaly? Security ops is going to become active, 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 active protection. Am I protected? What is happening here? You have to look at the protection. And then, assuming that something bad happened, in an automated way, can you recover it? Oh, this was bad. This shouldn't have happened. Roll it back. Bring it back to here. This is a last good known state. And then, assuming that you have to actually sort of deliver it back into the production systems, truly recover it, can you do that too? So this is a continuous loop process. It's not a tool. It's not a product. It's the ability for your organization to have a roadmap, a capability, to be able to actively build resilience into your operations. Bringing together data security, identity resilience, and your ability to truly recover. That's how we approach it. And these capabilities are built right into the platform. The way we think about it is that you need a single pane of glass to be able to look at everything you have, including AI workloads, and say, are we able to do this ResOps or protection capability at scale? Scale suddenly took a whole new turn with AI. Can I do it at scale? Can I do it simply? Okay? And can we do it with speed? Because speed is not our friend when you're being attacked. So the way we've approached it and built our platform and rebuilt our platform over the years is to be able to truly deliver the scale, the simplicity, okay, and the speed of recovery that you need. And this is all built into the ResOps cycle of life. The only product slide that I have, and what I will share with you is the product that our flagship product is Commvault Cloud Unity. And I'll not focus not so much on the product, but why I call it Unity, why we call it Unity. Because it unifies a few things that I've talked about. It unifies all your assets. It doesn't matter if it's on-premise, on the edge, in the cloud, in the public cloud, in multi-cloud, doesn't matter. We'll unify that data and we'll protect that data as if it was one. We give you a single view into all of your information. We also bring together different types of data, all under one pane of glass. And the reason we can do all of that is because the architecture that we have decouples the ability to read and protect data from anywhere and recover your data to anywhere. And that is a very different architectural approach than anybody else in the business because we're not tied to any one system. We optimize around the workload. And that becomes really pivotal. We've got some incredible innovation in this platform that my team, I'm sure, will talk about, like synthetic recovery. This is something I'm particularly proud about, just a feature that I'm incredibly proud about because from the days that I was a CIO, the dilemma that you had when you were recovering data was clean data versus lost data. The time that your data was unavailable for whatever reason. And the goal was always to minimize that. So recovery is one thing, but if I can only recover 2 months prior, I might as well not waste my time. So how do you reduce that data loss, if any, and you do it in an automated way? Synthetic recovery takes last good known backup, known problem, and then is able to synthesize a whole new recovery point for you in an automated way so you can minimize that and maximize your time, maximize the ability for you to come back to life quickly. So things like that built right into one platform that give you the ability to touch any kind of data, living anywhere, and bring it back to life as fast as you can with ResOps built right in. So that's my only product plug. I'll let my guys do the rest of it. And what I want to leave you with is, honestly, that as a company, we focus on one thing, making your business resilient. Everything we do is about that. So if it's security in the product, it's about that. If it's compatibility with an ecosystem, it's about that. Everything we do is about recovery and bringing your business back to life should something happen, accidentally or untoward. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to our next speaker, and I want to thank you all for spending time with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, because the challenge for every business is to be ready for something we don't know. So it is
speeds that you don't know.
At the speed also.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.